Hi everyone, I'm here to just give my opinion on what it's like to live in a mostly white area, in a mostly white rural town, in a blue state. I came from a very large city, and I wanted to move to a smaller city for peace and for just sanity. I happen to like rural areas, happen to like the peace and quiet of a rural area. And I am aware that a lot of these places are just as poor as a lot of inner cities, but I just wanted the peace of mind of having my children be away from certain types of things, violent things in the city. So we moved here in 2024. And I know it's been a lot of things in media where people are talking about all white towns. And for the most part, we don't care. We just don't want them to have taxpayer dollars that are paid by everyone of every race, because that wouldn't be fair. So I agree. People should have the ability to separate themselves if they don't feel like being around the people. I would actually prefer that, because they could be around their own people and they can, not have that tension, that racial tension, and offend other people around them. So as far as that goes, it is disgusting, but people can separate themselves as long as the taxpayer dollars that are coming from everyone are not funding these activities. I really don't care. And I moved out here. This was previously historically a sundown town where I moved, but it's in a blue state. So things have changed a little bit, and 60% of the people from where I live are Trump supporters. 37% actually voted for Kamala Harris. I have the election stats from the Board of Elections from this county. So and the house that I live in was previously a hoarded house, which I had to clean out with the help of 2 of the local women who are amazing, and a few other women who have helped us out since we've been here. We're not a high-income family. We're a low-income family. We've been helped out tremendously, in particular by 2 particular women in this town who happen to be gracious and generous and nice and kind, and have helped us every step of the way. And that is the upside. When you go to a small town, some people can actually be more accommodating and helping because they know that you're in a small town. There's not that many resources, so they band together. And these particular women do. But not everybody is like that here. Of course, I told you 60% are Trump supporters. So there's racism going on where, the N-word has been used against me and my children in several instances. Not full on direct, but just people saying it in a joking manner around my children, and it being yelled out on the bus one time with my children on there. And of course the reaction was of disgust, as it should be. In this town, I befriended someone who I thought was a nice person. She happened to have a Latino husband who is undocumented. And this woman, in particular, voted for Kamala. She was the one of the 37%. And I thought she was a friend. I needed help. She helped me. She's an older woman. She came by, bought a few things when I moved in, because I really didn't have anything. As I said, we're low income. And she was nice, and I thought she was a good person until there was a new neighbor who moved in, which I suspect is not too friendly with people of the African American persuasion. So this woman that I knew made friends with her, and they began to gossip about people around the neighborhood, including especially me. For whatever reason, they've been specifically talking and targeting me and my black family. And where I live, there's only 15 black people in population here from the Census Bureau. There are only 15 black people here, and 4 of us moved in, so that would only be about 19. So it's under 20 black people that live here, and we're one of the few black families that live in this 95% white town. So, as I said, the lady that I knew started to gossip. She was always gossiping. I really didn't. Once I would talk to her a few times on the phone, and I saw that she was that type. I'm not a person that gossips, so I really kind of cut my communication down with her. And I really don't communicate with her like that. I do communicate with the other two ladies. I'm not really a talkative person. I'm really an introvert. So I don't really talk too much, but I'm very careful of who I talk to. So once I found this particular woman was gossiping or appeared to be gossiping about people, I just cut off a majority of my communication with her. And then she started talking to a new neighbor who happened to be an older white woman who moved in right in the back of me. So what I've noticed, and this has been about 6 months since she's moved in, is that they completely and utterly, just make nasty, rude comments about me. Because I noticed they stare. The lady in the back of me has a dog. She walks her dog. When she first moved in, she walked very slowly, staring at the house. Our house is not in the best shape. As I said, it was a hoarder house. And it was a Trump supporter that lived here, a previous Trump supporter who lived here, who didn't take very good care of this house. So I took it over, and with the help of 2 other women in town, they helped me clean it up tremendously, which I am truly grateful for. But this particular woman in town happens to have the Latino husband, and the lady that moved in back, I suspect that she might be a Trump supporter, but I don't know for sure. So I keep my distance. I don't make friends very easily. Like, I'm an introvert. As I said, I keep a small circle of people. And me being the only few black families in town, I really don't mingle and mix with anybody here, because, as I said, 60% of the people here are Trump supporters. And only 37% of the people here are Democratic and voted for Kamala. But this particular woman that voted for Kamala, that appeared to be a friend, and I don't know if people know people like this, but they will be your friend in your face, trying to be nice, trying to appear to be a friendly person to talk to. But what this person did, get all my business and information and spread it around because she's the older woman, spread it around to several of the older women, including the new woman that just moved in behind me. So I'm getting all these weird stares from this woman now. And the woman that used to pretend to be my friend, which was the supposed woman who voted for Kamala, she's not a Trump supporter, but still, she tends to come around the house. She's a busybody in the neighborhood. I know it's because she gossips. She goes around the town. This is what she does. Talks about people in the neighborhood, spreading their personal business around town. And there's under 2,000 people here, so these people know each other. And we happen to be one of the few black families here, so I guess we're the best target ever, because this is a 95% white town. So I'm thinking that this woman is a good, decent person until she starts doing this. A tree fell on my house. A big ass tree. I have like 3 or 4 trees in the back of my yard. And it happens to be a very big one in the backyard. And the branches were leaning over the house because I said it was a unkept house and nobody really trimmed the branches. They happened to fall on my house during the storm. Right? So, and I knew because I heard the big crash. Our family is okay. The house didn't fall apart. It's just a little bit of roof damage, and that's it. So I look at the damage at night. I move a few branches at night, and then I wait till the morning to assess the damage, right? So I go out and assess the damage. I go around the house and I'm looking, and then I see the man that used to live here, the Trump supporter, riding his bike, because he still lives in town, but he lives in a different area. So he comes over, he rides by. I noticed this, right? So I'm noticing this stuff, and he's going by riding his little bike. And then a few moments later, because the woman that I'm talking about, that's the Kamala voter, has the undocumented husband here is walking like she knows the guy who used to live here. He's a Trump supporter. Of course, they're friendly, and because she's known him longer than I have, and you know she's probably lived in this town for way longer than me, so she knows everybody here. So here she comes. I guess the guy must have said something about the tree falling on the house, and here she comes. I'm looking in the back. She doesn't see me. She doesn't initially notice me, and then I see this woman smirk as she walks by, looking at my house with this tree falling on it, because this was a huge branch that fell on my house. And I'm disgusted. I'm absolutely disgusted at this woman. So the other woman in the backyard later on that day walks by slowly with her dog, you know, staring and gawking. And then the two women that are the helpers, the women who help people in town, come by and ride by, and they see the house, and they're like, oh my God, what happened? And you know, and they urge, because I had all the tree equipment, because I have interest in climbing trees, because I was going to build a little tree thing for my kids, a little tree platform for the kids. So I bought some tree equipment, and I'm putting the stuff on to try to see if I can cut this tree down. So the women stopped me, the women who are helpful in the community, and they stopped me, and they're like, oh, we don't want you to get hurt. Please don't go up there. Don't do that. We don't want you dead. We don't want to, you know, have the kids in a situation where they don't have a mom, right? So I stop, and I'm like, you know, maybe that is not a good idea, because I don't have any experience cutting down such a big tree. I've cut down trees before, because I've lived in an area where we've had trees in the backyard, but they were far smaller, because this is a huge tree and a huge branch. It's like another tree just fell on my house from this huge tree, because the branches are so big, and it's like leaning on the house the way it fell. So later on, time goes by, you know, me and the two ladies who help the members of the community around town, they arrange something. They charge me nothing. They get somebody over here to cut the tree down. They help with that. I don't have to worry about any financial burden of doing this. These women are fantastic. And I do have a GoFundMe in the link below. I don't have any money. As I said, I'm the low income person. I wanted to just do something nice for these women and probably showcase them in one of my videos, because they are so helpful and so nice in the neighborhood. So the link will be in the description for a GoFundMe for giving these women some thanks and gratitude gifts just for all that they do. These women have helped me with gift cards. They've helped me with getting food. They've helped me with going around town to register my kids for school. They've helped me with getting the dumpster to clear out the trash from this haunted house. They've helped me with cleaning up my yard, you know, and they've had, you know, they've had so much influence in our positive experience being here on these two particular women. And I just wanted to thank them. Link is in the description. But the story goes on. Aside from that, the two women help, and the time, and they call somebody over to help chop the branches. I don't know anybody here, because this guy they know a guy who collects wood, and I have like a maple and some a big elm tree that was the branches from an elm tree that were cut down. This guy comes and gets it. They actually help me with getting the little chainsaw to cut down the smaller branches and everything. They take me and the kids out the day that the guy comes over to cut down the branches, and the day he comes to cut down the branches, like a day after, here comes this nosy neighbor who talks mess about me to the neighbors in the back and a few other people in town. So she comes over and she's like, oh yeah, oh, it's cleaned up now, huh? And I'm like, yeah, and I'm busy, you know, I'm busy picking up branches. And she comes over just to be nosy and to see if she can get in my business even more. She only comes over to get in my business at this point, because I really don't talk to her, because I don't like the fact that she's gossiping, and I don't like gossipy people. So she comes over just to be nosy. And it's in the heat of it. It's like 90 some degrees outside, and I'm picking all these branches up. It's in the heat of summer. This is in July, and it's like horribly hot outside. And she's coming over, and she's like, oh, my husband's like, ooh, where are you going? Like, because it's so hot outside. He's like, wondering where I was going. I just wanted to see what you were doing. And mind you, this lady has offered me no help. She has not, and when the tree fell, she smirked, and she didn't like come by and say, oh my God, are you and your family okay, or anything like that. So that's how I know she's not concerned and she doesn't care. And she just wants to gossip about somebody. So she's targeting my black ass. Because I happen to be one of the only few black people in the neighborhood. I don't see her doing this to anybody else, because people have had things happen to their houses here. This is a rural area, and storms happen, and you know, stuff happens. But I noticed that she's like laser focused in on me and my family. So this woman is like sitting up here poking and prodding me, like, okay, well, you know, she didn't say, did you need anything or anything like that. She just like, oh, okay. I said the other two women helped me. They helped get somebody over to clean it up. And she just walks off. A few weeks later, she comes back. And I lost the job. She comes back, right? She's like, ooh, are you still working for the same company? So I'm like, how in the world does this woman know in my damn personal business? I have the windows open. I look at my daughter's room. I forgot I left the window open with the screen directly to the backyard where the other lady is. So these women are keeping tabs on me. She comes by. She says, oh, so are you guys ready for the school year? This is like the school year coming up a month later. So, yeah, the kids are taken care of, because the two ladies that help out people in the community help me and get my children school supplies, because I said I'm low income. I'm not a person that's walking around here with a lot of money. And I recently had like a job loss, so they helped me out with that. So I'm like, yeah, the kids had everything taken care of by these two women. And the look on her face, when I tell you this woman looked more disappointed than a clown in the rain, honey. Her face changed almost immediately when I told her that these two women helped out with the kids back to school supplies, and they helped take care of that for me. Her face dropped, visibly dropped and drooped, as if something was mentally wrong with her. So I said, yeah, the kids are all packed up and everything. And she said, that's good that y'all are packed up. That's what she said. She said, ooh, it's getting hot out here. So she, you know, goes off and walks off wherever the hell she goes. And I'm looking at this woman. I'm like, you disgusting human being. I'm just here trying to live my life in peace and get away from all the drama and the chaos of a big city. You know, and all the violent things that happen in big cities, and go to a nice rural area, small town, to mind my business. And here we are, some old woman, and this woman has to be in her 70s, trolling me, a woman in my 40s, and my young children, my preteen children, after, you know, we've lived a life of poverty and low income, so we've been in like shelters and everything, and had to struggle through life. This woman comes and showcases her bullcrap at my doorstep, even though she's it doesn't matter who she voted for, she's exhibiting all the signs of being racially biased towards the very few black people in town. Because I know that she's not doing this to anybody else who had anything falling at their homes or their garages or anything like that, because things happen. People have had their houses and garages and everything destroyed around town. But I know some of the only one that she seems to have laser focused in on. So I'm really disgusted at this point, because when she said packed up, that's like, oh, I can't, you know, I hope you guys are packed up, as in about to leave the town, because she has decided in her infinite superiority that somehow we don't belong here. So at this point, I'm very disgusted, and I'm disappointed that I even made this woman a friend in the first place. And I should have saw through it. And I'm thinking she in her upper years, in her 70s, you know, she wouldn't be into things like this. And where I come from, this is called ratchet hood behavior. Like, this woman is ratchet. She just straight messy. She only nice to people so she can know their business and then talk about it all over town. that's the type of person that I unfortunately have met and associated with, and now I am avoiding and making sure that I'm staying busy doing whatever I need to do to support my family and make sure that we're okay, and making sure that our house stays intact in this rural town with very little resources and not a lot of opportunities here. So this woman is trolling us in this small 95% white town where 60% of the people are Trump supporters, and she is so-called a Democrat. And I'm like, it's disgusting how people hide their vitriol and their disdain for other races behind who they vote for. And from what I'm noticing, this woman has an immigrant husband, right? And no tea, no shady is any immigrants, and especially those who didn't vote for Trump. So I'm like, you're a woman who has firsthand experience being in the town, because she was like talking about all her discrimination that she had when people found out her husband was an immigrant from Mexico, like he's a Latino. And I'm like, oh wow, okay. So I can relate to that because I'm black and I've had discrimination and things like that happen to me on a racial basis. So I'm like, okay, we're relating. And she was talking about how her daughter was called the N-word in school when she was growing up here. And I'm like, okay, so I got all my antennas are up and I'm watching out for things that are racial. Most of the racism are coming from these children who are being raised by racist parents. The instances where the N-word has come into play have come off the lips of children. Now, I haven't heard any adult say it yet, but apparently their parents are teaching them racist values. They're raising racist. So it's disgusting to me that they freely say the N-word, some of these children. And not all, but some. And I'm like, those are the racial incidences where my children heard the N-word. Well, these kids were joking around and chasing a car saying the N-word to the person in there, jokingly. Like, that's not a joke. It's not funny to me that you're joking about that word. All the words in the world, that's the words you want to focus on and say. So the kids think that that's okay. So their parents are to blame for that. And then we had the one incident where my child was on the bus and another white male child said the N-word just randomly, and then just randomly said it and was quiet. I guess trying to get some rise out of my kids because they're the only black few students here, because it's only 15 black people here so far, and us moving in, that made it about 19, so it's under 20 black people here. So I'm like, okay, y'all trying to create, the children are creating a hostile environment for my children. I'm disgusted at some of that. Not all the children are like that, thank goodness. Some of their parents are actually decent people, which is a blessing. But from what I'm seeing, in rural towns like this, you have to watch your back. And even if somebody says they're a Democrat or they're voting for Kamala, they did that, that doesn't make them not a racist, because I'm noticing the women that are here, I don't know if the woman in the back that just moved in about 6 months ago is a Trump supporter or not, but I can definitely say that they're bonding in their whiteness against my black ass, talking all kind of crazy stuff about me and saying these nasty things. I moved into a house that was hoarded and damaged by a previous Trump supporter. So, an older white man who had a lot of health issues, and his wife had a lot of health issues. The house was hoarded. The yard was hoarded. Around the house was hoarded. I guess I'll throw a picture and show you a few pictures later, maybe. I really am a private person. I don't want to show all my business online, but I'll probably throw a picture up so you guys can see. But I'm like, I walked into a house that was damaged, not by me, but by somebody who previously was here. And I'm getting talked about and dragged for living in this raggedy house. Which was the most affordable thing for us because we're low income. And I got it at a cheap price because the real estate guy who had it didn't want to fix it up because it was hoarded. So he didn't want anything to do with it. He has a whole bunch of other properties that he works on, and he just didn't feel like this was worth it, so he sold it to me cheap. And I got it for a good price. And I was like, well, the economy being as it is, I might as well get the cheap house that I can get. If you guys want to help me out with helping funding to take care of like any repairs to like the roof, because I still need help with that. Roof repairs. The ladies removed the trees that help, but unfortunately they can't help me any further with that. And I recently did lose a job, so I would appreciate anybody who's willing to help. I do have a GoFundMe for that as well, in the link in the description below. So if anybody was so generous to help me, I really would appreciate that. And I just wanted to say, this topic of all white towns, some people do like it that way, even so-called Democrats who pretend that they're actually not racially biased. Some of them, not all, but in this particular case, I met a woman that is just like that, and I'm disgusted. So be careful out here. If you live in a town at this point in time that is a mostly white town, please be careful. In the world in general, as it is, with the societal change that's happening, with people just being openly racist and being comfortable in their racism and in their racial bias and in their, just crapping all over any minority that they can find. Be careful out here, you guys. It's not a joke. These are real life consequences that people have to face from people, the people who voted for hate, and oppression, and taking away people's opportunities because for upward mobility. Because I noticed that nobody's talking about that one particular thing. Upward mobility is something that the United States is known for. So since the minorities in this country have seen, I guess, some marked upward mobility to where they're transitioning out of low-income statuses into a more middle class or more higher class of income, racist people have gotten angry and have voted because they're not seeing any changes, because they're being manipulated by the same greedy corporations and wealthy people that have always targeted them and persecuted them and suppressed them and oppressed them. They want the scapegoat of minorities to blame. So, I mean, that's what's going on in this world today. So, I'm noticing a lot of people are going through this. And just be careful out here. Be careful who you associate with and who you think might be your friends. Be careful of their behavior when they think you're not watching. So, just be very careful out here who you trust and who you're around. It's no joke. People are having real life consequences from people's hatred, and they're taking all the opportunity in the world to boast about it and have it in my face and show me what type of people they really are. If anything, the only blessing out of all of this Trump administration chaos is that you're finding out who's who and what's what. So I thank goodness that I found out who this woman really was. And being in a previous sundown town where I am, which previously was a sundown town, the Ku Klux Klan actually passed out flyers here a few years back, from what I heard from some of the locals. So it stands to reason why 60% of these people are like Trump supporters. 37% happen not to be. But even some of the ones who are not Trump supporters, apparently some of them still have a racial bias, unfortunately. And they're persecuting people who don't look like them. So, and we're black. We're a black family. We're part of the few 15, the few 19 people now who happen to live here. And it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy in general because a lot of these rural places have like not a lot of job opportunity. So it's a struggle, and having the added on stress of being persecuted by people who don't like me because of the race that I was born is actually pretty disturbing. We're a normal family. We're not perfect. We have our flaws, just like any other family. We have our dysfunctions like any other family. But we don't mean anybody any harm, and we're just trying to survive in a low income area and have the best life we can possibly have. So you guys give me your opinions and comment below. Let me know what you think. Would you have taken a house in a rural area with 95% white? And at a time like this, this was before the election. This was in 2024, before Trump actually won the presidency. So just keep that in mind. Would you have moved out here? And would you still be friends with the person who smirked when a tree fell on your house, your raggedy house, but it fell on your house, possibly celebrating the fact that something bad happened to you and your family? Would you still be friends with somebody like that? And your opinions below. Thank you, and you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.